going?
Cool. It's fast.
Good morning, everyone. It's Janet coming to you live from the store, the Uptique Boutique at 82 Colborne Street East in Orillia. I am painting a console table. This console table has been quite popular in the last couple weeks, week or so. I've seen it on a lot of flippers, what do you call them? Their accounts. So it's just a little console table with two drawers. They're very hard to find. Narrow with storage. I call it the unicorn of furniture. Same with tall nightstands and pairs. There are just certain things that are incredibly hard to find. And anytime you see one of these guys, they usually don't have drawers. So it has two drawers. I'm going to paint it in a custom blend that I made. I've sanded it down. I used an orbital sander to sand it down. You can either use a orbital sander or you can scuff sand by hand. It's totally up to you. If you're going to scuff sand by hand, then I would use Fusion TSP to clean it, sand it, and start your project. So that is that. So it's been sanded everywhere. I have a color that I made. I put Liberty Blue and Midnight Blue together, and then I added a product called Extender. Extender helps extend the drying time of Fusion paint because Fusion is wonderful. It dries super quick, but that can also be to a detriment when you're trying to do certain things, especially with darker colors. So you put 15 mils of the Extender into a pint, and that's that. So you can put one of these in 4 pints. So it's a 60 mil pint or 60 mil container, and so 15 of them is 4 times is 60. So that's that. All right. So
Is it because the paint is self-leveling, the extender keeps it from drying too fast?
yes, that's exactly it.
So that your brush strokes...
It's to minimize brush strokes. Yes, sorry, I forgot that part. It can also help your project if you're wanting to do like an ombre where you're like blending. It can help with that as well. So basically, it's just extending the drying time. And why I say darker colors is the brush strokes, because and I do the same thing. You think it's dry, you go back and you go to fix something, and it's not dry, and you've pulled the paint, and that's where you get brush strokes from. Is from pulling paint or pulling paint while it's drying. Overworking the paint. It's very notorious with coal black as well. You'll see like all these like little like shiny lines. That's overworking paint. So if you've done a Fusion project, you've gotten all these like weird lines and think it's the paint, it's just the way it's been applied. So it happens a lot. That's why they made Extender. That's how much it happens. And I do it as well, because I go back and I want to fix something. I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that. So I guess I'll just start painting. I have my F30. It's a flat Klingon. I like the flat because this guy's square. It's got flat edges. So that's what I'm doing with this guy. I'm going to dip it in the paint a few times, take it back off, because I like to hydrate the brush a bit with paint. You don't need a lot. I'm going to put about that much on and then start going. Don't need a ton of paint, but just enough to saturate your brush and the surface. Try and go in one direction with it so you get a nice even look. It's going to dry darker than this. Your brain will not want to go in one direction. It's not a huge deal if you don't. It's just nicer. What do you keep knocking over there? Okay. First coat always looks kind of rough. Like with the underneath coming through, because it's going to take 2 or more coats. With most colors by Fusion, 2 coats is enough, but certain colors might take a bit more. If you do find it's taking a bit more, you can always put a like a base, like a gray base to start. He's knocking things over. Yeah, you can do a gray base to start to have less coats. What will make more coats is if you're going, say like this color to like a white, it's going to take a lot of coats. I'm going dark with this guy, so it'll take less. I start with the top, just because the top is the first thing you use, and I also like it because it's nice and flat. It's just, I don't know, it's just a fun thing to start with. And then work your way to the legs.
But really, you should probably flip it over and do the underside first. Otherwise, you miss it and forget it.
That too. Or you could start with the underside first. I know. I probably do things. I probably make more work for myself the way I do it. It's not important where you start. That's just.
Especially with the first coat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's everything on top. So I'm going to move to the drawer. Just so you can see. Oh.
I see one spot on the front.
Oh. Once you come down to eye level, you'll see it a bit better too. It's hard to see stuff from up here. And then, so this brush is really good for doors and drawers. So I filled the holes in. There's nothing particularly wrong with the handles. I just wanted something else. So filled the holes. It took 2 fillings to do it. So what happens when you put filler in is the filler sinks as it's drying, so you have to put a little bit more in. So I put paint on my brush. Oh, isn't that rewarding? Watching that go on. So with doors and drawers, I like to kind of hold them in my hand and turn them. And that's why I like these flats, because it kind of like draws the paint on. Like when you're doing like a side, it's like a nice. And then if you put it in your hand, it doesn't touch the ground. So like it is self-leveling, like Greg said. So if you do see brush strokes and you're worried about them, they will even out. So again, not a lot of paint, and that'll do the whole drawer. I'm watching all that brown disappear. It's very satisfying. Is anyone there, Greg?
Are you putting anything else on other than blue, or this is a solid blue?
It's gonna be solid blue, yeah. Yeah, sometimes just if it has like a really cool style and it has like use like a nice bold color, sometimes it's just the handles are enough, and I have really cool handles going on it. So even if I left the old handles on, I think it still would be super cute. I just wanted to change it up a bit. It had what was called swan bales on it, so a small round would be good for this guy too. If I was to use like an R12, because it would wrap around this piece nicely as well. So I think you could get away with that too. It looks so good. So this is Midnight Blue and Liberty Blue put together. It's one of my favorite combinations. Liberty Blue, because Midnight Blue has this nice, rich color, and then the Liberty Blue in it adds a little bit of warmth, which makes it a bit, just a bit richer to me. Whether you paint the insides of things, that's a judgment call on your part. If the wood is good, I leave it. I don't know why, like, why make the work. But if you have like an idea where you want, say, black on the outside and gray on the inside, like that's totally your call. It's just I don't love the look of painted drawers unless they have to be painted, because I kind of like seeing what they used to look like, especially if it's an antique. It's cool to see like if it has like stuff written in it, or so yeah, you could start with it upside down, or you could do what I do and just sit here and look under and then get it on your hair.
In your face.
And my face. And then complain, why is it always on my hair and my face? So it takes about 15-20 minutes for the paint to dry. The extender will obviously make that longer, so it could be upwards of 45 minutes. I guess we'll find out. The silk's still wet to me. You can paint probably in the same day. I like to leave everything to the next day, just because then I know it's definitely dry, and I can start like painting again, because if it's too soon, it does what's called pulling paint, because weather can really change how the paint dries. Like if it's really humid, which I know it isn't right now, but say you are in a humid area, because there's people from all over the world following me, which is cool. So yeah, if it's humid, it makes fusion weak, and it takes longer for it to dry. So that way, if it's been a whole day, I know for sure. Okay. So.
The whole front is done.
Sorry? The front? Yeah. Yep. Order anything, any of the colors that I'm using or any of the products I'm using, it's on the website, theupteakboutique.com. I can help make you an order as well if you're not exactly sure what you need. That's what I did for somebody yesterday. She thought she had pine, brought it in, it was maple, so just a very different wood to work with, because she was staining and painting. So it's just, it can really help if I can navigate you guys in the right direction. With the more information you can give me of your project, the better, and I can, like I said, get the right stuff for you. I think that's it. So I'm here 11 to 1 today for pickups. If you've put an order in for anything or want to put an order in for anything, you'll get 2 emails. One that says your order is confirmed, and then once I've actually put your order together and it's ready for pickup, you'll get a pickup notification through your email as well. So it's theupteakboutique.com. I'm Janet. I'm at 82 Colborne Street East in Orillia, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.
What do you press on this thing to stop it?
There's an end up here, and then it'll say end.